welcome to Real Talk Tarot. My name is Steph. This is Freya. She's going to join us out here today. Out on the back porch. Just really feeling like it's time to start showing up on this channel. And, honestly, there's been so much resistance on my part to really setting up on YouTube, but I'm not really quite sure why. I just am always led back to sit down, start recording, at least recently, so here we are, let's go. Alright, that's pretty straightforward. It's kind of what I'm saying is that the judgment call has already been made. And it just feels like the more we give in to that resistant attitude, resisting what we know is ultimately best for us, resisting what we know, what we truly feel we're being divinely guided towards. On a collective level, I think we're absolutely all experiencing this. I just heard ultimatum, but as much as resistant as I am to that word, ultimatums, I think will inherently always meet some sort of resistance, right? But I think that these ultimatums are of our own making. I think we're all reaching a point on a collective scale where something has got to give, something has got to go, and it might have been something that we thought that we would, a habit, a pattern, a perspective that we thought we really hadn't even considered that there might be a point in our future where we're not hanging on to it in some sort of way, it's like believing that our perspective is only going to see life in one way and never change, never evolve. But the fact of the matter is that that's the only constant. Our perspective is constantly changing based on the experiences that we have. And really, the revelations, and not just like the massive, profound revelations, about self or the world or whatever, but micro revelations. Revelations that we have on a daily basis if we, just make the time to open ourselves up to them. Micro revelations. I think we've been meeting a lot of those lately, to the point where it's like, I just heard make or break, but it's like, well, I'm not going to break. In fact, I've been living broken for quite a while, so I know that's not working. So I guess it's time to make. It's time to make. I've been put in this position before, make or break, and apparently I chose break. Now I just realized that there is no other option, and it's time to just surrender to the way, to the path, because the signs have been on point. To the point where it's like that is now becoming part of this evolution. We're all collectively evolving into this higher level perspective, higher vantage point, and just looking at our personal situations, but also the global situations as well. The things that have sort of remained, behind some sort of murky veil, or, where there's been a lot of smoke and mirrors and a lot of gaslighting. I think we're all, or at least those who are watching, those who have found their way to a video on this conversation, just to put words to your own experience, you have fully digested now the perspective needed to see the games that are being played, right? It's one thing to be playing the game knowing that you're playing a game. It's another to be playing the game and have no idea the game that you're playing. And that's going to mean something different to everybody, but and on different levels too, in multiple different ways. What games are you playing? You're playing a game anyway, so might as well put your mind to really diving into, just kind of hitting a mental block here. Okay, let's get to the tarot. We're 5 minutes in, but let's just see what's to come. It feels like there's this relaxation moving into Libra season, hitting the equinox. It just feels like tensions are starting to dissipate, and our eyes are open just a little bit wider now. And here we are, I feel like, in the first few steps of that ultimate motion forward. Always, always, always connected to the divine. Always, always, always connected to white light, the Holy Spirit. My guides. So I just want to make that clear. Three of Swords, yeah. Three of Swords. Three of Swords fell out, but we have Earth. Interesting. We have the World, but I called her Earth. That's never happened, but I think this really is just I'm being called to remind you and myself that whatever you are experiencing on a personal level, even if you feel like there's no way in a million years anybody could be experiencing life in the way that you are, it's been such an experience that it's convinced you that you are somehow in isolation, experiencing these hardships. What you are experiencing is an energetic wave, a tidal wave, that has hit you and millions and, just on Earth alone, millions at the same time. And it might not be to the detail the exact same experience, but the energy is being worked through. Millions, that same energy, that same problem, that same friction, tension, contention is being worked through on a really wide, vast scale. When you feel like you're alone, you just simply aren't. So many people are feeling that way. So many people have been feeling this Three of Swords. It's not just you, and let tarot really prove that to you. When you're watching different videos and it's resonating to you in your situation so much, but thousands of other people have watched that same video within, most of the time, 24 hours, and are saying, yes, that's my experience too. In that exact moment, you have to understand that the pain that you're experiencing, the hardships, the loss, the betrayal, it's not just you. This is divinely guided. It's been a struggle, yes, but everybody has been given an opportunity to overcome that struggle in their own way, right? So that at some point, we are able to help each other, and help people in the future who are experiencing that wave that we once had experienced, We learn, we grow, and then we help others get through it. At least I think that will resonate with most of you all watching. And that really does feel like the exhale. It's feeling like you've been through the worst of it. What have I learned? And when what you feel like you've learned, when that lesson really sets in and you feel healed, by understanding, I'm a Virgo. I think it's just my natural instinct to naturally want to, impart you know, the wisdom and the lessons that I've experienced onto others, you know, not to hoard, you know, my divinely guided lessons, you know, but to help others connect to the divine, you know, and find their own personal way. The only way to the other side is through. You could think that you're sidestepping, you could think that you're avoiding pain, but it'll get you, you know, because it's for your own good. And, you know, I'm now getting this image of the Ten of Cups, you know, with the rainbow, the beautiful rainbow. But when do you see a rainbow without any rain? There's a lot of rain going on in that card. You know, when the storm clouds start to fall back, dissipate, you know, and the sunshine that's been there the whole time starts to peek through those dark clouds, creates a rainbow. So I think we're removed enough where we're able to see the pain for what it was, you know, because we have reached some sort of level of understanding in the situation, be it romantic. I have a feeling, you know, given that it's the Three of Swords striking through a heart, it likely does have to do with a romantic situation. But, you know, when you're that hurt and you feel so helpless and so just left out to be rained upon, you know, you do surrender. This energy forces you to surrender, you know, because at some point it hurts. It just, you can't take it, you know. And if you're not able to obtain the answers that you feel like you need in an external way, you have to go within. You have to look at the swords inside of you, right? And that's only going to lead to a higher perspective, you know, where you can embrace a better understanding of the situation, as painful as it is. You know, when, basic scenario, someone, you know, we'll just say a homeless man, is hungry, has no money to buy food, goes in and robs the cashier of a gas station at gunpoint. Grabs just, I don't even know, whatever he can grab, food, you know, maybe trying to grab some money too, just really, and ran off. I think most people are going to look at that situation and criminalize, right, the thief, right? But what you didn't know was that this man, you know, has maybe a newborn baby, or is just simply that hungry and that feeling that dejected, that they're just in this, just entrenched in this lack mentality where the desperation drives them to do unsavory acts, right? As wrong as it is and will always be to, you know, rob somebody and threaten their life, you know, at gunpoint, we can see what would drive a man to do it. Compassion, understanding. We are hurt, but we can grow from it. There's space, and, you know, this is the space. If there was ever a space to finally look at your wounds and heal them with the intention, you know, of doing just that, now has been the time. And if you haven't fully surrendered to that energy, to that space of just, you know, I think Virgo season really encouraged people to do that, you know, to remain in hermit mode, to really digest, to really just lean into, you know, the higher perspective to come. If you haven't been there already, now is the time. But I think most of you really have digested this Three of Swords, which is ultimately why the World card would show up. You're closing out a cycle. This is what needed this understanding of emotional control, emotional intelligence, is absolutely paramount and fundamental to whatever it is you're going to create. I just want to put that out there. Knowing that you have a say in your emotional output, your emotional expenditure toward any given situation that might cause a knee-jerk reaction out of you, you now know that it's within your own power to choose how you wish to respond. But you had to go through it. You simply had to go through it. You had to watch yourself react in exactly the wrong way. And really see it for what it was. Take the time to see shit. I know I fucked up, but I didn't really know how or how bad, But now we know, so. Spirit is high energy today. Alright, let's see. Wheel of Fortune. Reversed. Yes, I think I'm exactly being called to that, what I just said, about embracing solitude in order to piece through the swords that are in your heart. To really take that time and take action towards healing yourself. That could be just treating your body with the utmost respect, whatever that means to you. But until then, you're not going to see forward motion. The universe is holding out on the forward motion until you have fully embraced and surrendered to your own karmic lessons. Tarot readers especially, I think, can be people pleasers. They say what they want, they say what they feel the egos of their consumers want them to say, right? They kind of cater to being liked, cater to feeling popular, as opposed to giving the truth. I think a lot of readers, whether they realize it or not, feed to the egos of their subscribers. And I know well enough that if I'm going to be making my own channel, called it Real Talk Tarot, So, I just say it like it is. Until you've fully healed, whatever you're hoping to create, whatever you're waiting for to happen, you might understand that, yes, it's only a matter of time. But if you're just sort of brushing under the rug the work, if you're just brushing this under the rug, you're going to continue to be at a standstill. So do what it takes. Pull away from toxic energies. Just pull the F away. Tuck into your room. Virgo season is past, but I think Libra season really still caters to that harmonious energy, Create harmony in your space. Create harmony in whatever space you can, so that you can come back to it and feel like it is 100% yours. Be that your bedroom or just, get creative. If you don't have your own room, or it's impossible for you to get your own space for whatever reason, collect things that you really like in a shoebox, just things that make you feel connected to yourself, things that remind you of yourself, and then when you have time, a moment to yourself, set those things out on your bed and just be in your own energy as much as possible, and just let the messages come. Let the enlightenment from the divine flow into your heart and through your mind. Let the divine heal you by giving you higher perspective, but you have to be willing to look at the truths, to really look at the pointed tips of those swords. You know, they are sharp. And it's going to hurt again to try to take them out, you know? But once they're out, they're out. Once you see it for what it is, there's no going back. There's only movement forward. But time is pending. You got to do it. I mean, it's like, it's not even like, oh, you got to do something, but there's not this, like, bountiful reward at the end of it. There is a bountiful reward at the end of it. Higher perspective, you're going to know that it is 100% in your power how you respond to people. But think about that for a minute. How many times do we give our power away? You know, where we don't say the things that we want to say. We don't respond in a way that we feel like speaks to who we are. You know, we feel, anytime that you felt misunderstood, you know, it's because you reacted and you didn't properly respond. You're going to start to understand that in this space, when you give yourself space to just be in your own energy and let the divine flow through you, you're going to be so much more at one with yourself. So much, I mean, that is confidence, right? It can happen in these small ways. You don't need to have, like, profound transformations, you know? Take micro transformations in your daily life. You can do that, you know? But now you're able to see, like, yo, all I gotta do is give myself a little bit of time every day, be consistent about it. That is huge. That is a bountiful reward for doing the hard work. You know, parsing through your own pain, as raw as it still might be, you know? Pain can stick around for a while, you know? But we don't have to wait for it to, you know, be completely buried in our experience for us to trudge it up, you know, in therapy 10, 15, 20 years down the line. No, we can do that now. We can do it all now. It hurts, but fuck. Excuse me. The Magician. It's all in your own hands. Just saw 2233. If you're watching this video, and you are, you know this. This is the bountiful reward. Those who have put in the work, have taken time, have been in fluid conversation with the divine, have embraced hermit mode throughout Virgo season. It's almost like that. You're just like smiling because you're like, oh my gosh. When you have this, like, say you have this superpower that you know is like the game changer, like such a game changer, and you just want to like use it, you know, but it's kind of like this pause, like, oh my gosh, I'm stepping out every day. It just feels like I'm a different person. I just see things differently. I think a lot of people are really becoming savvy to the games that have been playing above their heads. Like, you've been part of a game that you didn't know that you were playing, but now you know. And not only do you know that you were playing a game, but you're creating, I don't want to say a bigger game on top of that, but once you understand, it's like playing chess, right? But you're playing both sides. You know what the other what move the other person's gonna make. It's so predictable now. Predictable and very transparent, where maybe there were a lot of smoke and mirrors. You know, there was a lot of confusion, a lot of, you know, manipulation. But you can't manipulate someone who is savvy to the game. You can't. Alright. What else, Spirit? What else do you got for us here? Alright. Justice. And the King of Pentacles. Yeah, I think this is the leveling out. Is like feeling unshakable. You know, feeling super solid and stable with this new perspective. You know truths that were once hidden behind this purple veil. You are on the other side. You have come out onto the other side. You have breached that threshold from lower limited perspective to a much grander perspective with a very narrow, small population. It's kind of like, okay, you were over here, sort of like not really knowing left from right, not really knowing what's going on, feeling it, but not knowing, like not really having proof, but like knowing, you know, like your intuition has been telling you. But just with time enough, with really trusting your intuition, like there's been so many signs, proof enough. You know, if it's not physical, tangible, in your face, seen it with your own eyes proof, it's been like proof in literally every other way on the other side of this veil. That is rebalance, because you're on top of it. You are now absolutely on top of the game. In fact, you know, creating your own rules now. So that feels pretty damn good. And you can't fake that. You know, you cannot fake King of Pentacles energy. You either physically, it's either fully embraced or it's not there at all. You know, Pentacles are like tangible experiences, tangible perspectives. Something that we can embody day in and day out, and is part of us. Like, look at this man. He is covered in ivy. He is fully engulfed in his reality. And part of his reality is the perspective that he keeps. Right? And the perspective that he is maintaining is that he is on top of the game. You know? Maybe wouldn't, but from here on out, now there's no way I can unsee this. There's no way I can unknow reality, you know? What's been going on. It's been a crucial piece of the puzzle. But now that it's digested, we can move forward. Now we got a solid foundation to build on, right? The Ace of Pentacles is the seed, the idea, the thought, you know, maybe not exactly the thought, but roll with me here. The Two of Pentacles is sort of like balancing, like what's true, what isn't true, you know, can I trust this, but what about this, you know, sort of like I don't want it to be true, like that Two of Pentacles juggler energy, you know. It's kind of like wavering with that water behind him, an emotional, like using your emotions to sort of discern or decipher between two perspectives maybe. But the Three is when you're making the decision, right? You're moving forward. You're creating blueprints because you're so certain that it's time to build. Now we can build, right? Now we have a good picture of how things are going to look at the end of this. So, hell yeah. All right, let's get a little more detail. I am feeling like this is pertaining to a intimate relationship, like partner, boyfriend, or girlfriend, and I'm just getting intuitive hits, like we want more specifics, like we want, okay, big picture we understand, but like smaller details, how can we move forward, you know, in relation to our romantic partner. So let's see. You know, I think I'm going to do clarifiers with my Aquarian Tarot, but yeah, here we go. Ace of Swords. Here we go. Clarity all the way. Divine, thank you so much for your clear wisdom. Thank you so much for your guidance. Thank you so much for loving us dearly every single day. let's clarify this Three of Swords, just to flesh out a situation so that you, Divine, can provide guidance for positive motion moving forward. King of Swords. Yeah. Okay. King of Swords. The manipulator, right? The the King of Swords is the master of mind games. King of Swords loves mind games. King of Swords loves chess. Okay, you might know this about this person, but they get off. They get off on knowing more, hoarding that higher perspective, right? There's a lot of puppet string pulling. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors. But it's just to maintain status. You know? A sense of control. But also know that any sense of control can only exist in the space of the mind. The King of Swords is all about mental energy. So yes, you've mastered mental energy, but here we are, resulting in the Three of Swords. A lot of pain on both sides. You know, if you have fully embraced your own Three of Swords, just know that that's what this King of Swords is now contending with. I think you pulled back in a way that reminded this person the stark differences between you and him, the King of Swords. The space that was created between you two, prompted by this pain, you started to show up in a way that was entirely unexpected to this person. This person thought he had your next move predicted, right? You might have said, I'm fucking done, I'm out of here, I'm done with you, I want to move on, we're breaking up. You might have said that, he might have, no matter what, I think you did first, ultimately, you were experiencing so much pain that you just said, you know what, I'm done, I'm out of here. This King of Swords says, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Why? Because now I have space to, third party this shit. Yeah, I know. I think you already know. At this point, I mean, it's hard to hear, right? It's hard to hear. That this King of Swords has been doing this for so long that, it was just like clockwork. When time came around in your relationship with this person, to roll the dice and, shake things up and stir the pot, to create emotional distance so that he could, manipulate in other ways, sort of go along without being seen, manipulate minds, create illusions, lurking, but the King of Swords, although he would like to think so, is not the magician, is limited by the illusions that can only be kept in the mental space. Once you supersede, trying to know in your mental space and know in a High Priestess heart space, there's no, the mental space then immediately becomes extremely limited and limiting. So let's move on from here. King of Swords. Let's see. What do you got about King of Swords over this Three of Swords, Divine? Page of Swords. Exactly. Thinks he's a king, but now you see it quite differently. Walking around in the daylight thinking that he's the king, when in factuality he is but a page. He's but a page, and I think that he's feeling this now too. Because you have not reacted in a way that he had predicted by any stretch of the imagination. Nothing about what happened post-breakup has been part of his plan. You likely did not reach back out. You likely said, you know what, I got you, it's been painful, it's been a rough ride, but you know what, I know it's for the best. And you probably just said, you know what, peace, like, I ain't trying to hit you up, you know, not gonna front, like, yeah, I've been going through it, but by no means am I gonna give you what you want. And you probably, you know, that was part of the awakening process to this game. It's like, yo, I did maybe come back, I did put up a fight in the past, you know, but it's different now because I'm really done, you know, and these swords are really fucking me up, these 3 swords here. But think of those 3 swords as like the puppet strings, right? So long as he can keep you emotionally entangled to his prevailing toxicity, then you are a pawn in his chess game. You know, and I know this sounds really harsh, and I'm really painting this person in a very dark light, but they are the side playing out the shadow. You know, this is, again, that wave of collective experience, this wave of collective energy that is infiltrated between your relationship with your own King of Swords, mine with mine, so on and so forth, right? This growth has been just as pertinent and necessary for this person as it has been for you. You might only be in a space where you can only fully absorb your own growth and what you've gotten out of this. You might be clueless as to what this person has gotten out of it. But I think that there's been a grand humbling. You know, you saw him as the page, frontin' as the king first. And I think he's now becoming savvy to this fact as well. And feeling kind of like trumped by your higher perspective. He now just couldn't guess, you know, what you have going on, you know. Oh yeah. Yep. And 4 of Swords, or 4 of Cups here. I think he never wanted to push you away. I mean, he never wanted to lose you. That needs to be said. That was never part of the plan either. He wanted his cake and he wanted to eat it too. But he needed you in a comfortable corner, you know? He needed you attached, you know, with just enough unpacked emotional pain. Whether or not he intellectually was able to, you know, articulate all of this, I really think this is just speaking to that energy that has needed to be lived through, to be experienced, you know, and ascended from. This is that wave. This is the underbelly to this experience is the sneakiness, the manipulation, the practice of pulling puppet strings to satisfy our, you know, lower vibrational ego, right? When the ego is attracted to toxic patterns, toxic behaviors, you know, obsessions, addictions, you know what I'm saying? That is devil energy, right? That is ultimately devil energy. And you can live a lifetime in devil energy, many do, you know, because they don't give themselves the time to seek a higher perspective. All right, that's a can of worms, but it's just the devil energy. And it doesn't have to be this, like, ooh, scary thing, King of Swords is the devil. Like, well, King of Swords has been living in devil energy quite a bit. But the only way to the other side is through. I just want to reiterate that. The only way to the other side to get out of devil energy is through. And the only way that this person was ever going to get to the other side is to be paired up and matched with someone that could beat him at his game. Right? To someone, a woman, likely a feminine energy, that has beat him at his own game. called him out, created distance, dipped, and is showing no signs of coming back. It was never part of the plan, because, you know, he needed you on strings because he knew that you were valuable, you know, likely highly, you know, like very beautiful, very attractive, highly attractive, has eyes on you, you know, but if he's not keeping you focused with a, you know, set gaze on him, even if it's, especially if, you know, why not use negative emotion to further fixate that gaze in his direction, then the variables become fewer, right? But you are different. You know, you, like I said, you just rewrite the game. Every woman that maybe this King of Swords has been able to manipulate up to this point has just been him experiencing sort of that sneaky devil energy. It's seductive to feel like that you have a one-up on, you know, the entire feminine population. But sorry, man. Sorry. In fact, you know, I need to offend any masculine out there, but the feminine energy is, you know what? I'm not even gonna get into it too much. We're already 41 in, so let's continue to clarify. Wheel of Fortune. Loud and clear. Yeah. That first step moving forward. The Page of Pentacles, I think this is the layer. This is talking about your person here. What's stopping this person from taking steps forward is just submitting, surrendering to being humbled by reality, by how you see reality, and now how they're being forced to see reality. They're now having to take a hard look at, you know, the strings that they were pulling, the games that they were playing, and how it always only led to pain, but they chose it anyway. You know, they hurt likely the most important, loving, supportive person that they've ever had in their life. And they wanted you so bad, they wanted to keep you so bad, they played every trick that they ever knew to play. But what they didn't see coming is that, you know, you're that valuable that you're not gonna stick around for it, even for, you know, maybe call it profound love, you know, profound connection. Not even for profound connection am I gonna stick around and be a victim to this mental manipulation bullshit. No. This is him coming correct. Because if you ever hope to get to the king, you have to start out at a page. And a page is very humble. Especially a King of Swords. This is just shift, dude. This is the shift. King of Swords to Page of Swords. 1. But then Page of Pentacles. This is coming at it for real now. This is that judgment energy. This is the no choice. It's time to make it. You've tried to evade this. You've tried to shy away from this inevitable, you know, this ultimatum. You've chosen that shitty option proposed to you by the devil 100 times. Are you done hitting your head against the wall? You know, is what you lost, does that hurt enough for you to change your ways, you know? Time will tell. And I'm not saying, oh, he's changed his ways, you can trust him now. Like, no. There needs to be, the page has got a long journey ahead of him, right? The page has a lot to learn about loyalty, about stick-to-itiveness, about patience, perseverance, tenacity. All of these words are coming up. I think that your King of Swords has some growing to do. You know, what turns a boy from a man? You know, think about that. 9 of Wands. You know, feeling like this is a long and arduous journey ahead. You know, especially if he's kind of been prone to compare himself to you. I think you are kind of like that beacon of just high character. You know, you're someone who he sees as having high character, high self-respect. I think he sees you in a way as the King of Pentacles, you know, and he's saying it's this total shift of energy here. So you see, this is kind of janky, but hang with me. King of Swords, Page of Swords, right? In the past. But now with this shift, like, being the King of Swords is no longer an objective anymore. Now the only objective is to get on level, on par with this King of Pentacles. Where do I start? I don't fucking know. But you know what? You know, you do. You do. Best believe. You know, proof is in the pudding. It's not just what you say, it's that clearly you do. You have embraced the way because you're there. You are sitting as the King of Pentacles. You know, masculine or feminine energy. You're there at the top. You know what it takes. You know what it takes to build an empire. You know, you know what it takes to build ultimate stability and luxury. Why? Because you exhibit self-restraint. You exhibit discipline. You know, you don't give in to toxic, addictive, obsessive energies because you see it for what it is. You see the game for what it is. All right, let's clarify the Magician. 8 of Cups. This is you. You used your own Magician energy and you said, fuck this. Fuck this. And it didn't happen overnight. It certainly didn't happen overnight. There was an attachment to what was in these cups. There was, you know, a stronghold. The 8 of Cups, you know, can be translated back to the 8 of the major arcana, which is strength. You know, really overcoming urges, really overcoming, you know, maybe you've been feeling like, oh, I just want to say something, I just want to say how I feel, I just want to say what's going on in my head, but just knowing that there just hasn't been growth enough to turn back. If there was ever going to be growth, we'd be there by now, right? We just have to let go and move on. And that was hard. It was very, very hard. But again, 6 of Rods at the bottom with the Magician peeking out here. You know, you stay true to that long game, you know. I think you probably found yourself in a point, especially if you've been like watching tarot videos where it's like, oh, he's coming around, this or that, like your dreams are coming true, this or that. YouTube tarot readers love to do that, right? Because they love to please the ego. They love to tell you exactly what you want to hear. But so while you've been like twiddling your thumbs, you know, tapping your fingers here waiting for it to happen, you realize like, no, the longer I am, you know, waiting for time to shift, the shift is literally that shift. The shift in the dial, the shift in the energy is gonna come from me. And me just fully embracing letting go. Right? If that isn't an oxymoron, I don't know what is, but yeah, this was the game changer. This was absolutely the game changer. You actually moving on emotionally, or just sort of showing this King of Swords that you are no longer emotionally tethered. You are no longer affected by, you know, toxic modes of manipulation. Game changer. Let's get one more for that. Alright, so it kind of floated down, started upright, but then flipped upside down. I think, yeah, what this did was shuffle out. It just sort of sifted through the murky energy, and the truth just eventually came to light. Maybe it wasn't immediately seen, maybe it didn't happen, simultaneously with this other person, but I think both of you, it's just been funneling towards this inevitable end. Just truth. Just honest to God truth, and the succession of swords, the ace to the 10, I think is really just a lot of accumulation of bullshit, I think it really does speak to that just overwhelming burden of just mental control, manipulation at all costs, can only lead to this feeling of just betrayal, You tried to trap me. That's betrayal. The only way to start afresh is to reject all of that entirely, right? And to just simply remain at the ace. There's really, you can step further down into the succession of swords, the ace to 2 to 3, and so on and so forth. But you can also just stay here. You can just embrace the truth in every given moment. And I think that that's all you're interested in. And if this King of Swords isn't there yet, time's a wasting, because you feel more seated in your own power, more seated in this, revelation, really digesting it and making this part of your physical reality that, your universe is trying to attract. Your universe is always attracting your mirror. But with this goodness, with this good, this good perspective, 10 of Swords. Tarot. Just make me laugh. Oh, an Ace of Swords here at the bottom. We'll get into that. Okay. 10 of Swords. 7 of Swords. Yeah. It can only lead to that. Alright. So, where you two meet, that's how I'm starting to see this Justice card and the King of Pentacles, right? When you're both really in it for the long haul, when you're both leveled out, truly leveling each other out in an energetic way. If that's the steps being taken forward and it's being done so in a mutual way, what do we got? Oh. Look who decided to show up. I think that I'm seeing this Emperor as the masculine embodying the magician. But the magician, okay, because the Emperor is the culmination of all the kings, right, in the tarot. The kings of every suit clumped together would be the Emperor, right? So I'm saying that the magician, with every element on the table, I think he's embracing the magician in his own way, really utilizing his sword of truth to come correct and to show up as not just but the King of Pentacles, which is highly desirable. Who doesn't love a King of Pentacles in the upright? Saying, I'm not just going to show up as your King of Pentacles, I'm going to show up as your Emperor. And I think, and I'm going to explain, and I'm not just saying this because it gave you butterflies in your stomach, but I say this because 4 of Pentacles, the Fool, 4 of Cups, 3 of Pentacles. This is surrender, right? Hanging on to what you know, what you've always known. It feels like not much, but you're afraid of the effort and the energy it's going to take to get more, right? Because what comes after the 4 but the 5? There's struggle involved, you know? There's times where shit isn't going to be working out. But if you never move from the 4 of Pentacles, you know, yeah, sure, you avoid struggle, but you also avoid fulfillment. You know, you also avoid that 10 of Pentacles. Then the Fool. You know, seeing it for what it is, seeing that you've been hanging on to something that just, it doesn't serve you, it never has. You know, even if it did at some point, at what point are we going to grow? You know, at what point are we going to move? At what point are we going to make moves? You got to let go. You got to just jump, you know, and follow your instincts here. I think this King of Swords has been driven by his instincts. That's all he's been able to hang on to at this point. Call it intuition. I think masculine, more readily identify with their instincts, you know? Interesting. Whereas the feminine is more intuitive. Not to say masculines can't be intuitive, but he's been relying on his instincts. And his instincts have been pushing him to let go of what he's been desperately hanging on to. Because if he's still holding on to those puppeteer strings, but he sees that you've already cut yourself loose, like what's he doing hanging on to the strings still? 4 of Cups. Yeah, feeling like, you know, there were 4 people drinking out of these 4 cups, but now he's the only one. Everybody's left the party. Everybody's left the show. Now he's just here, alone. You know? Like, kind of like, you know, that one friend that just always gets so drunk that it's just not fun anymore. Nobody wants to, like, keep hanging out, you know? It's just like, wah, wah, time to go home. Party pooper. Like, he was a total party pooper. Shit was going good. But then he had to pull it out. He had to play the game. Couldn't resist, right? Now ain't nobody at the party. Everybody left. Go home, you're drunk. Okay. But then 3 of Pentacles, right? I think this is consequence of feeling humbled, you know? Really going back to the blueprint. What's working? What isn't? Truly, let's look at the foundation. What is going to matter moving forward? Everything else has got, you know, to be pushed aside. I've made my choice. 3 beyond the 2 of Pentacles. You know, if there were 2 choices, I've made my choice. Because it gives me a solid foundation. It gives me hopes for the future. And it is truly something that, you know, if I was waiting to feel inspired to start building with someone, it's here. You know, this is the direction. This is what my instincts have been telling me to follow. All along. My instincts have never told me, you know, I'm speaking for the King of Swords. His instincts have never told him to leave you in the dust, to leave you ever at all. But his toxic ways tried to grip you and squeeze you so tight, squeeze the life out of you. To sort of like rob you of your free will. Ridiculous, right? But if this energy was sort of living out and within us up to this point, it needed to be purged, right? And the only way to the other side is through. So embrace it, and you are the leader. You watching this video, no matter who you are, masculine or feminine, you are the leader because you are the one that has embraced this higher perspective first. So continue just doing what you're doing. Embrace the Emperor in yourself, you know. You oversee it all. You're the Lion King. I don't know why I just said that. But, like, you know, look across your kingdom. You know, expect nothing less than your divine partner, than your equal counterpart. And if this King of Swords ain't there, you know, by the time somebody else shows up, 'tis life. 'Tis life, but much, much, much is promised to you. Because you will give it to yourself, right? God bless higher perspective. God bless you. Alright, it's been one full hour. I'm gonna call it here. Check back for more. Steph, Real Talk Tarot. I'll see you all again soon.